Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of BA120. In order to start this week, I want to talk a little bit about what is due. So I am here on the home page. If you scroll down to Module 2, you'll see it's going to look pretty similar to the last one. You'll have your checklists and objectives and your lectures and readings that you have to look at. There's a discussion post, and just as a reminder of what is due, you need to make your initial post by Wednesday at midnight, and then you need to respond to 2 other students by Sunday at midnight. And something I want to make clear as far as attendance goes, you have to participate at least once before Wednesday and then at least once again before Sunday. Participation can count as your initial post to a discussion, your follow-up post, your homework. After you watch these lectures, you need to write a paper, as it says, with Module 2 lecture response. That counts as participation. So it just needs to be something that's substantive, but you have to participate in the first half of the week and the last half of the week. So now that I think you kind of know what's going on and how the class is going, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or the school. And let's get started on looking at the homework for this week, because we have 4 assignments, so I'd kind of like to look at that a little bit more. So if you go to Module 2 assignment, it'll pull up here. All right, so you're going to see you'll have 4.1a in Chapter 4, 5.1 and 5.2a in Chapter 5, and 6.3b in Chapter 6. So this is going to be pretty similar to last week as far as getting your templates. Click on the link. Give it a second to download. And there we go. All right, so let's start with 4.1a. Obviously, we'll go in order. So this one is going to be dealing with the debits and credits, and it's going to be a similar format to last week's. So cells that are in yellow are going to have some sort of a reference. On this one, I did not give any specific hints, but the formulas are going to be your hints instead of number hints. So for example, let's look at number 1. If everybody is following, or if you are following along as we're looking at this, you can turn to page 109 in the book, because I believe that's where this is. And you're going to see 4.1a there. And it's got all of the transactions, so starting from September 1st to September 30th. And we need to go through and enter the debits and credits for all of these. So I'll just do a couple here to show you. So for example, on your first one, it says issued check 1169 for $1,900 to pay September rent. So let's think about this one for a second. You paid somebody $1,900 for rent on your office building, your plant, whatever it is. So I've helped you also out here by listing a lot of your descriptions to kind of help you see how debits and credits work, and that goes all the way down. I probably almost gave you a little bit too much, but debits and credits are really important as we're moving through class, so I want to make sure that you understand that. So your rent expense. Your expenses are going to go up by $1,900. So you're going to enter your $1,900 here. And then, as you can see, if you expand this a little bit, it auto-populates for you. I've given you that formula. So your cash is going to go down by $1,900, because if you think about it on the account, if you have, or on the T accounts, if you have cash in one of your accounts, or you have cash on hand, your checking account, whatever it is in the bank, you're going to have a debit balance. But we just paid $1,900, so you've got to credit your cash. Expenses, when they go up, that is a debit. So that's why that's going up. So it's going to be pretty similar all the way down. And we will look at the last one here, which is for Selena Cantu drawing. And it says that you issued check 1188 for $4,700 to cash, for $4,700 cash to Selena Cantu for personal expenses. Excuse me there. So again, on the far side of the accounting equation, you've essentially got your owner's equity, or kind of your drawing account, that's going to be over there. So you're going to enter your $4,700 because you've got to take it out of there. And then your cash, again, is going down by $4,700. So everything balances out. So as I mentioned, it's just going to be the same thing kind of over and over. Just make sure that you're using the right numbers and that you're understanding how debits and credits are flowing through. That's my biggest concern on that one. Next, we're on to 5.1a, and this one is on page 144 if you want to turn there. Give me 1 second. All right. And then 5.1a. So you'll see I went a little bit further here than what you need to. They've got a template set up here for you, which will be really similar when you do 5.2a, but we'll get to that one in a second. So you've got Nixon Company for the month end of January 31st, 2016. You can see here they've already given you your trial balance. So you need to go through and finish filling out these columns right here. So your ending number should be 393,000 on that cell and that cell when this all adds up, just like the book is showing. Then what you're supposed to do is go through and do your adjustments, so your debits and your credits. You don't have to do your adjusted trial balance, income statement, or balance sheet if you don't want to yet, but you do need to do through the adjustments at least, as it shows on there. I added those just in case somebody wanted to kind of play around with it, be a little bit of an overachiever and start figuring it out ahead, but you don't have to necessarily do that. So what you got to do on this one, let's start looking at it. So you're supposed to record the trial balance in the trial balance section of the worksheet. And then you complete the worksheet by making the following adjustments. Supplies on hand at the end of the month are $4,200, expired insurance, $5,500, depreciation expenses, $1,600. So let's take a look at this. So it says that you start with supplies of $39,400. But then it says at the end of the month you have $4,200. So generally what people think they need to do is enter $4,200. The book sometimes is a little tricky like this. What it's telling you is that that is your ending balance. So that's how much you still have on hand. That is not what you have spent. What you have spent is $35,200. And how do we get that? By taking the $39,400 minus the $4,200 that you have left. So that gives you $35,200. So you're going to have the same thing as you go through each of these. You'll have your prepaid insurance entered in here. You're going to have a deduction. You need to make sure that you've got everything that you're calculating everything correctly on that. That's going to be the hardest part on this one. And then also you're going to have your depreciation expense entry. So now that I've explained that you're going to have to do those 3 entries on here, let's go back to that first entry for just a second. This is double entry accounting. So what does that mean? You have to have 2 entries. You'll enter your trial balance. You're not going to have that there, but you're going to have your adjustments. So your supplies are an asset. So if you have supplies on hand, it's a debit balance. You used $35,200 worth of the month, so you're going to have a credit. So here's your credit. So then you've got to have a debit somewhere to make sure that that's adding up in this column since you're double entry. And what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to supplies expense. So supplies expense is on the right hand side of the accounting equation. Since it was a credit on the left, that automatically tells you there should be a debit on the right because it needs to balance out. So that's why your supplies expense is debited $35,200 as well. And it'll be similar for the other 3 transactions. And I will just give you a clue, a reward for listening to this. Your debit and credit right here, that column, your ending number should be $42,300. $42,300 again in there. If you did want to, like I said, overachieve and go a little bit above and beyond, like I said, you can do your adjusted trial balance and your income statement to account from that, but you don't necessarily have to. At this point, if you're just doing your adjustments to make sure you're getting your debits and credits, kind of learning how to use this ledger worksheet, I think that's the most important part so far. So let's go to 5.2a. This one's on page 145, so just the next page over. Well, it starts on the same page, but carries over. So it is just on the same page right there. So on this one, you've got your adjusted trial balance for college books, the college bookstore, as of November 30th, 2016. After the firm's first months of operations appear on the next page. So it does carry a little bit, over to right there. So again, you're going to have to go through and you're going to have to fill out your trial balance based off of the information that's in the chart on the top of page 145. So for example, cash right here is going to be $46,150. You're going to go through and you're going to enter all of those. Again, if you look at it, you got to make sure that everything adds up and balances to this side and balances to that side. Then you're going to go through and you're going to do your adjustments. So you've got 3 adjustments here again, A, B, and C, your supplies, your expired rent, and your depreciation. So you need to record your adjusted trial balance in the adjusted trial balance column of the worksheet. You're going to prepare the adjusting entries. So right here, you're going to prepare your adjusting entries. And on this one, you're also going to do the adjusted trial balance. So on the last one, just do these two this column to kind of get used to it. But on this one, we're going to take it a step further, and you actually need to do both columns. So your supplies on hand to start, as you can see, are $15,000. So you're probably wondering how I got the $15,000. So like I had mentioned, the book can be a little bit tricky sometimes. If you're reading the instructions there, it says appropriate adjustments have been made for the following items. So the trial balance information given to you on the top of page 145 already includes those adjustments. So it has, as I had mentioned, your supplies of $9,200. You used $5,800. So that means your beginning supplies were $9,200 plus $5,800, or $15,000. So you'll have that entered there, and then so it's going to be similar for the expired rent and the depreciation. If you look at the expired rent amount, or your prepaid rent amount, excuse me, you're going to have $49,000, which is the $42,000 plus the $7,000 used. So just kind of as a clue for you. Now let's go over here and let's do the adjustments. You used $5,800 in supplies. So you're going to credit your supplies account because you got to bring that down to reconcile to the $9,200 that's shown. Then you're also going to have your supplies expense, just like on the last one. But now you've got to do your adjusted trial balance. Your adjusted trial balance is $9,200, which ties to right here. And when you get done, it should reconcile to the book, the $20,674. So we're kind of making you back into this one, work it front and backwards, just so you can see how it goes. So 5.1 and 5.2a are really similar to each other. They're not too bad. As I had mentioned last week, every week builds on each other. 6.3a is a little bit of a culmination of everything that we've learned so far. 6.3b, excuse me. So if we want to turn to page 179 with me. Hold on one sec. Let me get there. Okay. So what you're going to do here, you need to enter your general journal entries. So it says record your balances in the ledger accounts as of December 31st, which is down here is your ledger. And then journalize the closing entries using account 399. So basically what you need to do is you need to start entering all of your stuff up here and then list the accounts affected by the closing entries for the month of December. So I've given you the accounts that you need to look at here. So your fees income is $162,000. You'll see when you're looking there on the bottom of page 179 is your fees income. So your income went up by $162,000. Your income summary is also $162,000 because you're going to transfer it over to that. So you brought in $162,000 in fees, but that does not include your expenses. So I'll give you a couple of clues here. Your income summary is going to get decreased by $62,100 based off of these expenses right here. So add up all of those expenses and it should equal that, just as a clue. Then you're going to go down and you're going to have your income summary, which is going to be your 162 minus your 62,100. Once you're done with everything, then you're going to have a capital transaction where Taylor Jackson Capital, you'll have a $10,800 as noticed on there, and then because he took out $10,800 and then $10,800. Once you're done with that, then you can see you've got to enter all of those entries here, and then at the bottom you'll have your analyze question there. But let me go over the first one quick while we've only got about a minute left on the video. You'll have your Taylor Jackson drawing right here. Oh, excuse me. Delete. 10,800, 10,800 right there. So your debit, you got to enter that, your 10,800 right there to transfer that one down. Then you'll have your 99,000 from up here when you do your income expense. It all flows through and then flows down, and your ending amount is $261,450. And the book gives you some examples in this as you go through the chapter 2 that'll really help you out. So hopefully this has been helpful. I got a lot of positive feedback last week, so I think this should be good. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, good luck, and hopefully you're enjoying the class, and we will get video 3 posted here in a little while. Thanks, everybody, and have a great second week.